And hit the QR code if you liked what you heard. Look, hi, I'm Mr. Teshner. I'm an English teacher here. Thank you so much. I've been in here all week, this hour, and fourth hour has been an incredible week. But that can't happen without you being just an absolutely amazing crowd. So give yourselves a round of applause. Now keep clapping and making noise for our incredible tech crew. Keep clapping and make sure you go home and thank your booster parents, because without them and the support of the administration, this doesn't happen. You just keep clapping. You just keep going. You keep going. You just feed on it, right? Also, a huge thank you to the English department for helping put this together. Make sure you thank your teachers if you have not done so. And then looking up into the crowd, I see a lot of other teachers from other departments. You are very, very fortunate to have teachers throughout this building in every single discipline that support the arts, that support creativity and writing. So make sure you give them some love too. Let's go ahead and get started. We've got a lot to go today with 7 tremendous presenters. But our first, Glenn Hadcock.
Hello, I'm Glenn, and I'm a senior, and my speech really isn't like a poem, a story, or anything very literary like that, so you will not hear a single simile, metaphor, or anything like that from me. But before I begin, I'm going to shout out Mr. Dawson's 4th period English class. And also, a couple of my friends asked for shout outs, so shout out to my boys, the Ginger Twins up there. All right, so I'm going to begin. Okay, I have a confession. I am a massive hypocrite, but not in the way that you think. So you see, I'm here to preach to you all on how not to be afraid of public speaking. Yet here I am, shaking in front of you all. My palms are sweaty, there are butterflies in my stomach, and my heart rate is way higher than usual. However, what if I told you that this was my plan? If I weren't afraid of public speaking, I would have never gotten onto the stage. And in fact, it is my fear of public speaking that compels me to stand here in front of you all. You see, I just want to get better at talking to people, and I want to be able to speak my mind without being anxious about what people are thinking of me. And what better way can I do that than just to stand right here in front of you all and just simply talk? This will help me overcome my fear of public speaking, just as I'm going to inform you all on how you guys can be less afraid of public speaking. Now, I didn't just Google how not to be scared of public speaking and teach you guys all on how not to be scared of public speaking. I'm going to tell you on what I personally feel is the most important ways in order to get over your glossophobia or fear of public speaking, and that's by literally just giving speeches. If you search up how not to get scared of public speaking, there are a lot of questionable advice out there, such as just calming down. Like, you can't just tell a kid with anxiety to simply calm down. I mean, you can do that, but they're just going to think you're a big meanie. Another even worse piece of advice I found online is picturing your audience naked. Like, seriously, you can't give any worse advice than that. Not only will you not become less afraid of public speaking, I believe you'd be even more afraid of it. Imagine standing on stage, looking at your audience, and picturing all of them naked, just staring at you. You'd feel pretty intimidated, right? Granted, there are a bunch of sadists out there who would enjoy this thought, but they're pretty weird, and we're not going to talk about them. Now, the true way to get over your glossophobia, as I mentioned earlier, is by literally talking. And I don't mean talk with your friends or the people you're comfortable with, but specifically to those that you aren't comfortable with. And by no means do I mean talk to the local creep. And just simply get out of your comfort zone. And I don't mean like those kinds of comfort zones. For instance, many people know that I'm a massive introvert. However, if you ask my first semester speech class, I was the biggest extrovert there was. I talked a lot. I talked a lot in class, made random dumb jokes, and intentionally gave embarrassing speech presentations in front of an audience. In fact, in my demonstration speech, I taught people how they can make their very own fan page of me. Yeah, that was one of the most awkward 5-minute speech presentations ever. 10 out of 10 would not recommend. But that was one of the speeches that made me least afraid of public speaking or just speaking in general. Another 5-minute speech I gave was where I literally talked about my homecoming proposal to someone who absolutely rejected me. I felt so incredibly embarrassed, and to make things worse, I put on full display how cringy my 35-plus hour homecoming day proposal was. But those 10 minutes of hell led me here on a stage in front of you all. And a quick interjection here, notice cardboard image did not take 35-plus hours. I made a whole website. And the premise was a hypothetical Twitter page where they can see information about me and guess who I am. See that passcode thing at the bottom of the screen? Where it says enter passcode and there's a hyperlink that says hint? Well, in order to unlock certain information, they have to play a game. So let's say they play this game, survive a certain time, and beat the game. They'll be given a password that will allow them to see the information about them. And that's what will allow them to unlock the tweet so they can see more obvious information revealing who I am. Anyways, if you take away one thing, okay, here's a couple more slides of my hypothetical Twitter page. I like ducks, yep. And I run, and I play chess, as you can see down there. So, yeah. Anyways, if you could take away one thing from this presentation, it should be that I make cringy speeches. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm not done. Be quiet. Take away the fact that you need to get out of your comfort zone when speaking in order to truly progress. So the next time you're in the hallway and see someone new, just go up to them and compliment them on their hair. Just straight up, nice hair. A little desensitization can go a long way. And who knows, maybe next year you'll be the one standing here on stage. Okay. All right, the next presenter is Meadow. Sorry.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Meadow McNaney, and I'm a senior. So I have a little content warning. I'm going to be talking about mental health and hospitalization a little bit. So I wasn't diagnosed with depression until this year, although I had been showing and feeling it for almost 2 years prior now. Depression has taken a lot from me. Quite honestly, I don't remember the last time I actually felt alive. Most days I wake up and I don't feel like myself. I don't smile or laugh as much anymore, and I've lost joy in things that used to bring me happiness, peace, and overall just a sense of well-being. For the people who might notice or ask why I'm not at school these next few weeks, the answer will be that I'm going to be homeschooling the rest of the semester. I never actually thought about homeschooling myself. My parents are always preaching about how honesty is the best policy, so here goes. I'm writing this on December 7th, 2022, and it's currently 12:56 a.m. Today is my birthday, I'm finally 18, and the truth is today's the day that I start outpatient. Today's the day I'm starting a program to help me feel alive again. Today is the first step in my long and difficult fight to get my smile back, and I'm scared shitless laying in bed not knowing what to expect. But I'm tired of feeling tired. I'm tired of never feeling like I have enough energy to take a shower. I'm tired of always wanting to jump in bed and pull the covers over my head to hide from the rest of the world. I'm tired of feeling like I'm watching my life play out in front of me like a movie with bad projectors. But I'm most tired of not having answers, specifically the answers as to why I feel the way I do. When I return back to school, I hope to come back one of two ways. One, I'm hoping to walk back into school with the big Hollywood smile my parents always say I have. Or two, I walk back in through those doors with all the tools I hope to learn to help me find myself again. Now, I'm not sharing this as a form of self-pity or as me looking for sympathy, but throughout losing pieces of myself to depression, I felt like I lost my voice verbally. Thankfully, I never lost my voice through writing. I'm deciding to share this with you to tell you that you're not alone. When all seems dark and scary and you don't know where to go or what to do next, you're not alone. For the longest time, I had convinced myself that because I was the one feeling this way, that I didn't deserve other people's help. I convinced myself that I was on my own. Two of the biggest things I struggle with is asking for help and opening up. I still have a hard time doing those two things, but with every passing day, I'm getting better. Best part is I'm getting help from others. It's human nature and it's in our DNA. Trust me when I say I know it's not easy facing your fears, asking for help, speaking up, but if I can do it, so can you. I believe in you, each and every one of you. So take a moment, reach inside yourself, and find that last ounce of strength you've kept buried and go fight for your smile, because you all deserve it. Next, we have Andrew.
Hi, I'm Andrew Lamputikun. Today I'll be reading two of my favorite college essays, and just letting you guys know before, these do kind of go around themes of familial death and cancer in case that is something any of you guys would want to avoid. Before I start, I'd like to shout out Mr. Anderson's fourth period lit class. I'd also like to shout out Ms. Hahn for letting me come in every day and annoy her with these essays. And specifically, my best friends Raghav and Scott for telling me everything I wrote was really good, even when it wasn't. So first off, I wanted to read my Stanford roommate essay. I originally wanted to edit this a little bit to better fit this like spoken word medium, but I wanted to preserve it actually for what I'd actually written. And for context, this is an essay meant to be a self-introduction to my possible roommate. So I'm kind of talking to the reader here. So here we go. Hi, I'm Andrew Lamputikun. You may have had difficulty reading my last name. Don't fret, most don't get it the first time. It's Lamputikun. You'll get it eventually. Do you also introduce yourself with your full name? To me, it's a statement. Same as introducing myself as Andrew of Palatine. It just didn't work before because everyone else I knew was also from Palatine. However, I'm saying it to you just as much as I'm saying it to myself because sometimes I need to remind myself that I am Andrew Lamputikun. I think it's natural to go through a period of not knowing the person you are. When my dad passed away, I thought any sense of connection I had with his last name or him was gone. That was all I knew of myself, so what was I otherwise? But I know now that I'm Andrew Lamputikun, son of Rod and Pam, and I'm the person they raised me to be, even though he is gone. I listen to history documentaries when I sleep because my dad and I used to do that together, but don't worry, I own headphones. I'm picky about food because my parents put their soul into cooking at their restaurant, and I wake up early in the morning because of the only time of day my dad and I could play soccer. So again, hi, I'm Andrew Lamputikun. I'm proud of the person I am, and I'm excited to meet the person you are. All right, so that's the first one. All right, so this is my second essay. I wrote this for fun in my AP Lit class doing like a Delights and Wonders project. And conveniently, this essay kind of ended up working for this like random UPenn prompt that I didn't actually end up submitting. This essay is really raw. I barely went through any edits of it. I wrote in like one sitting, and I think the only edits I made were grammatical. It leans a bit more into those heavier themes, just to warn everyone. So here we go. Do you remember Do you remember that game where I scored a hat trick but lost? Do you remember how we sat in the car after, how you hugged me, said you were proud, and took me on a walk? Thank you for teaching me to take my shoes off then, for teaching me to feel the grass between my toes and the air filling my lungs. Thank you for teaching me to enjoy the small things, even if the big things didn't go how I wanted them. Maybe you drilled that into me because the big things weren't always great. I remember those days after chemo when your feet were blistered so you couldn't walk. I remember the pistons of the oxygen machine churning as I waited outside your bedroom for you to finally catch your breath and fall asleep. But I remember how much happier the small things made you, so I found that you were right. The grass does feel better in the morning, and even if it makes no sense, maybe putting my arms up does make the air feel better. I miss you, Dad, but thank you for teaching me to appreciate the moments. My bad. Next up's Bebe.
Good morning, everybody. How are you today? Good, good. That's good to hear. I want to give a shout out to Ms. Morano's fourth period dramatics class. And I want to thank you, all of you, for being here today. So the poem today I'm going to read is a philosophical question about humanity and what we as humans are. What is a human? Is it a being in the universe? Is it a soul inside a flesh body? Or is it just a creature? If a being in the universe, it is a blessing and a curse, for it is part of a natural order that is diverse, yet it wishes for more. If a soul inside a flesh body it has limited amount of time to leave its legacy and climb to the heavens. If it is just a creature, then it has grown to be a reacher, achieving things that were once impossible and making it possible. If all of the above, then it shall live a life of order and chaos, of good and evil, and of creation and destruction. Thank you. Next up, we have Jasper.
Hey y'all, how are we feeling this morning? That's good. Excuse me for a minute. Okay, that's not working. So I have a couple poems, and this first one I wrote just after New Year's because I, as an aro ace, get so sick of romance sometimes. And so I was thinking about the classic New Year's kiss trope, and this poem came of it. Snow on the ground, cheers in the air, couples kissing under the light show up above. Sparklers burning in the snow, cheers deafening, but their smiles make you sad. The kissing, you feel lonely. The cheers now overwhelm the depressing thoughts multiplying. People kissing disgusts you. New Year's kisses, cliche. Yet you can't help but long to be similar, to feel the same, to feel, what's that word again? Normal. You've not minded being alone, but on this night, the kisses make you wonder. The smiles break your heart. The cheers do nothing for your soul. Your favorite couples make you wince. You hate it, you hate it, you hate it. You want to scream. Why does New Year's mean kissing? Why does Christmas mean meeting the family? Why do birthdays mean sex? What does anything mean? Why can't New Year's mean friends? Why can't Christmas mean snow? Why can't birthdays mean apple pie? What does anyone know? You stand there in Times Square, looking up at the sky. Couples kissing for miles, screams deafening, fireworks burning your eyes. You turn around and head.
Put their hands up, put your hands down. Niggas to the motion when I step inside the tree house. I'ma burn the tree down, I'ma let them free down. I'ma step inside the room and smack them in their fucking mouth. Niggas to the top, but I'm keeping them all the time.
And my second one is a bit heavier because it's about mental health. I wrote it about my experiences with mental health and specifically with my depression. There's a very big metaphor in here that I'm hoping you'll pick up on right away. So, can't move, can't fly. There's nowhere left to go. Nowhere left to run, nowhere left to hide. Can't face it, can't take it. These clipped wings on my back. Well, there's nowhere left to soar anymore. They weigh my body down, haunt my every move, my every step. These wretched wings trip me in the black of night, just when I let myself believe that I have my balance, that I've caught my breath. Drag me down to the deepest pits of hell they do. Swallow me whole, bury me alive. I can't claw my way out, can't get back to the surface, can't spread my wings to fly anymore. Crying and screaming, throwing my head back so they all hear me while I try to break out of this prison, while I kick at these walls, try to tear through these bars. No one hears. No one listens. Round and round in circles they all go on their merry little carousel, chittering, laughing, tinkling voices floating through this deep, dark abyss. 6 feet under, and no one notices I'm gone, in the middle of a crowded room, screaming my head off, and no one looks up. But my wings are clipped. There's radiant, beautiful, shining, gold and white feathers sparkling in the firelight, green and orange scales with fiery patterns dancing across them. My wings are clipped, tattered, bruised, black feathers matted with blood, red scales indistinguishable from it in the first place. My wings are clipped, bent, misshapen, broken tendons, torn muscles, shattered bones piercing their enclosure, bandages unable to stop the flowing blood, gauze unable to heal. But these bloodied wings, they'll spread again. My tattered wings will fly. They'll stretch and reach up, reach out, call attention, and touch the sky. Look at me, they say. I'm soaring, I'm flying again. I've picked myself up, I've my battle gear on. I'm ready to fly, ready to soar, ready to spread these imperfect, beautiful wings and pick myself up again. Next up is Mizzy.
Hi guys. Shout out to Miss Moreno's 4th period class. Okay. I was prepared, now I'm not. Give me like 3 seconds. Okay, so I'm reading a collection of poems about like grief and missing people. They're up for interpretation, so I hope you find some way to like relate to them. Okay, so the first one is human nature. Born from the flesh and blood, sweat and tears of someone who had their own stories. Slowly our stories intertwine and become one, only to come undone at the edges and slowly and agonizingly fade. And then the next one is outgrew. There was never a moment I knew. It was a collection of seconds, minutes, conversations, the unwavering aggravation that followed as it clicked. It's me, it's you. We don't fit together, not like we used to. The familiarity of your warmth, now coarse and inconceivable. Sorry. Here I lay missing you in our fortress built for two, and here it stays in the ruins of the days we outgrew. Carved so, an understanding carved through time, wasted so carelessly unto. And then the third one is fragile. When did you become so human? The emotions painted on your face look foreign and encrypted. Or maybe that face doesn't belong to you. There's no way that it can, not with those emotions carved so deep into those lines. The way those eyes stare back at mine. You look fragile, vulnerable, breakable. You don't stand nearly as tall as you once stood, or maybe I've simply removed you from the pedestal where you once stood. Either way, I wish I realized how human you were. With your flaws so neatly laid out, you don't seem as cruel. Okay. And then the last one is I miss you. I miss you like the sun in summer. No, sorry. I miss you like the sun in winter. It feels like forever in the moment, but back in the summer, and I miss you, just like the sun, I miss you a little less. I miss you like the moonless sky, dull and dim, but back in a few days, and the lack of your presence is nothing but a thing of the past. And I miss you like the end of my favorite drink, the way you coat my senses, sweet and savory, bitter and tangy, but gone in a few seconds. Sorry. Sweet and savory, bitter and tangy, a dull lake forgotten within a few seconds. And I miss you, I do, but only for a few seconds at a time, and in those seconds, it feels endless. The lack of your presence, sorry, I keep messing up. It feels endless. Your presence or the lack thereof almost crushes my very existence. I miss what I thought was you, the hidden potential I thought you had, when you were imperfect in every essence because you were a projection of my mind. And I miss you, I do, but I miss what you lacked more. Next up is Maria.
Hi, my name is Maria, and I want to start off by thanking all my friends that have come to support me, whether that be because I begged them to be here and kept reminding them that they better be here, or whether they have to be here because they're in Mr. Anderson's AP Lit class. Shout out to them. Also, thank you to my sister for waking up so early just to come watch me. That's her! Shout out to her. I'm going to be reading a piece about a story that happened to me a couple months ago, and thankfully it happened before the Writers' Week submission deadline, because I don't think I would be standing here if it didn't. Also, for those of you who are going to be going to AP Lit in the future, I hope you remember me through the story. But this piece is called Ants versus Ants, and I hope you all enjoy. What? You can't actually be serious. How does not a single person not feel bad for ants? I mean, come on, they're innocent. I guess that means I have to stand up for them. I raised my hand, and that's when disaster struck. Except not really. You're probably wondering what in the world is wrong with me and why I need to stand up for ants out of all things. Well, first off, there are plenty of reasons why you should stand up for innocent ants, but allow me to explain. Addie, Darrell, Cash, Jewel, Dewey Dell, Vardaman, and by far the best character in the book, A-N-S-E, pronounced ants. Now I'm sure you can see the direction this is going in, but let's keep on going, shall we? These characters are known as the Bundrins, the family of the book As I Lay Dying, which my English class read a couple months ago. My sincerest apologies, Mr. Anderson, but I'm about to say what's on all of our minds. It was such a boring book. And if you don't agree, I don't know why you don't. Anyway, confession time, that's why I didn't read it. But good news for you, my fellow teacher, that was a big mistake. Or that's what one would think, right? On one of the days that we were talking as a class about the book, I was not caught up on my reading. I had read the first chapter and that's about it, which was quite literally 3 pages, if you were wondering. I know I did so much. Anyway, I didn't know all the characters' names except for some here and there from previous discussions. And because I didn't know what was happening in the book, I obviously was not listening to the conversation. While doing my other work, all of a sudden, a question causes me to tune in. Does anyone feel bad for ants? I hear Mr. Anderson ask the class. I look around the silent room. Like, it's seriously so quiet you can hear a pin drop. Is everyone seriously too scared to admit that they feel bad for ants? That's pretty lame, but this is a question I can answer. I raise my hand halfway. You do, Maria? You feel bad for ants? Mr. Anderson asks, a bit taken aback. I nod confidently. Mm-hmm. Can you explain why? I don't know. I mean, they're just minding their own business. Then all of a sudden, bam, death. I hear laughs in the background. Yeah, sure. I mean, it is kind of like Ants is just minding his own business, then all of a sudden, death. He then continues to elaborate, trying to figure out how to further incorporate the nonsense thing I had just said to what was actually happening in the book. I finished up on my other classwork, smiling to myself that I was able to stand up for the innocent ants. And although I was proud of myself, I couldn't help but think why the question was about ants. Like, I may not know much about the book, but I have a strong feeling that it wasn't actually about ants, as in the insects. I kept my curiosity till the end of the period. As soon as the bell rang, I asked my friend Nadia, shout out to her, was Anderson asking about a character in the book or about ants, as in the insects? He was talking about the book character ants. Why would he be talking about the insect ants? They literally have nothing to do with anything. She responded with a pretty concerned look. Nadia's probably used to my weird questions, and if you're not Nadia, you probably should be by now, honestly. But I'm sure this is by far one of the weirdest, if not the most weird question I've asked her. I laughed nervously. Shoot, are you serious? I legitimately thought he was talking about ants as in the insects. I haven't read the book, so I don't even know who the heck ants is. I start to feel my face burn bright red thinking about how I just made the most embarrassing comment about ants, the insects, in front of the whole class. You don't know who ants is? That's actually really surprising. What you said made a lot of sense. Wait, actually? Are you serious? I was talking about ants the whole time, but apparently he was talking about the character. Which, would make a hell of a lot more sense. Yeah, no, he was definitely talking about the character. Oh, well, that's fun. Thank God it made sense, otherwise I think I would have simply died of embarrassment. As I was walking down the hallway with my other friend Laura, shout out to her as well, I told her about what had happened, and she was also surprised that I didn't read and said the same thing as Nadia. Therefore, thankfully, I never ended up embarrassing myself. And as an English teacher, I'm sure Mr. Anderson was hoping for me to mess up, to teach a life lesson on keeping up with your reading homework, but in the end, it ended up working out real well for me. Sorry, not sorry. Now, you may be wondering why nobody stood up for ants in the first place. Ants as in the human character, that is. Well, you see, Ants is a man of no action. He is known to be Faulkner's, the author's, most accomplished villain. In the book, his wife, Addie, is dying. Yet Ants doesn't do anything about it. He calls the doctor, only after his wife is dead. Okay, like what? He sat on his porch the whole book and is basically dead weight. Hence, why the class was silent as Mr. Anderson asked if anyone felt bad for him. So, the moral of the story is to not participate in class. Make sure to try your absolute best to not get called on to ensure not making a fool out of yourself. Stay hidden. I'm totally kidding. Am I? Yeah, I guess I have to because the teachers are here. But anyway, the real moral of the story is to take the risk. But make sure you've read the actual book. Not Spark Notes, not summaries from your friends, but the actual book. Or you could be like me and end up with a Great Writers Week piece. But the real moral of today is to always, and I mean always, stand up for ants. Thank you.
Oh, you don't? I'll bring it up. We got a little extra time, and thankfully, Meadow's got another piece. So welcome her back up on to the mic.
Okay, so this piece is actually my college essay. I chose the more of like the free choice option. So it's titled Betrayal, Pain, and Healing. Having to step outside your comfort zone to learn to trust someone. You become comfortable with trusting them and you let them get close. You tell them things you would usually keep to yourself and yourself only. Then one day they betray you. They tarnish your name. They cause you an enormous amount of pain that you never thought you could feel, and a part of you dies. Physically, you don't smile or laugh as much. Mentally, you shut people out and push them away before they can get close. Spiritually, you lose part of your sparkle. A part of you dies with your memories of them. Then you grieve. Man, do you grieve. Most nights you'll fall asleep in a slump as you try to liquefy your thoughts to nothing, but your mind is racing, wondering how they seem perfectly okay with the situation even though you're taking it personally, knowing you would never do that to them in any lifetime. You wake up still, with tears rolling down your face like a waterfall, eyes so puffy and swollen you're blinded. Never could you have thought your heart could physically hurt. It feels like their safe and warm arm is wrapped around you as they drive a knife with all their love through your heart. Everyone will tell you it gets better in time, and they're 100% correct, but no one wants to believe it in the moment. You spend your days going through old photographs, reading old text messages, you even stalk their social media to see what they're up to. They seem happy while you feel like you're going through hell. For you, you were a single chapter in their life book, while they were a handful of chapters in yours. Some blame themselves as part of the grieving process. They'll try and find a way to pin it on themselves instead of facing the truth. You can't change a person. Let that sink in for a second. You cannot change a person. Life changes people. We are meant to get hurt, we are meant to crumble, and we are meant to fall down. And then we're given the decision of staying down here in this hole we've buried for ourselves and crawled into, or we can start rebuilding and climbing back up to the top. I choose the second option. I choose to rebuild myself, but stronger. I choose to learn from the pain. I choose to grow from the mentally draining lessons. I choose me. This is how we heal. We choose ourselves first.
Hello again. I have one more poem for you. And this poem is dedicated to every closeted queer person, well, for whatever reason you may be closeted. And I love you, and I'm proud of you, and this poem is for you. Something you're ready to say, something they're not ready to hear. Whisper it to the moon, the moon, the moon. Your secrets, your desires, your dreams, your fears. Tell them to the moon, the moon, the moon. Something you want the world to know, something the world wants to deny. Yell it to the moon, the moon, the moon. What's in your heart, the sun won't know, the world won't know, time won't know. Shout it to the moon, the moon, the moon. Your truth, yourself, your joy, your shame. Rejoice it with the moon, the moon, the moon. Yell it, shout it, whisper it, scream it, say it to the moon.
Okay, hi guys, we're back again. If it isn't like really obvious, I am very anxious when it comes to being social and just like public speaking in general. So here's a prompt that I wrote last year in Mamula's 6th period class. Granted, he's not here right now, I don't think. Okay. Scattered, cluttered, messy. Thoughts piled high, gray, slate, dull. Just another day, wake up at 5, rub away eye crust, drag half-sore legs to the bathroom. Splash warm water against a spit-dried face, brush, flush, rush. Scurrying into a closet, clock strikes 10:15. Third alarm blares, wake up, sister, back under blankets for 15 minutes and try not to fall asleep. Shoes, bag, ID. Down 20 steps illuminated by sea green fluorescent lights. Out a tan-colored door, 120 paces to the bus stop. 6 minutes to 7. Up 1, 2, 5 steps, follow the masses inside. ID's out. 30 paces to the class, pull back on the bar. 15 steps to my seat, 5 letters, 10 numbers. Welcome with a loading circle. Well, more like loading dots in a circle. Tap, tap, tap. Chair scraping floor. 15 steps out the door. Lights bright. Right, make a right. Avert. Left towards the crowded halls. Eyes up, control breathing, shoulders back, legs faster. Women's. Pull the bathroom door, stall, 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 push gray door open, hands in hair, eyes wet, breathing uneven. Breathe. Pull white squares, blow air out nose. Flush, unlock, soap, scrub. Red tear-stained eyes stare back. Water, eyes down, water, blow dry. Eyes up, fake smile, eyes no longer red. Pull door back down the hallway to class. Door 15 steps to seat, earbuds in, bell rings, music, voices seen.
One more huge round of applause for this group, please. The way they share their vulnerabilities is so brave. So incredible group, really, really well done. Do we have any questions from the crowd at all? Up top here? Yes, I believe so, yeah, you.
I will be attending Stanford University in 2023.
More questions. Up top, yellow hoodie. I believe this is specifically for you.
So aroace is aromantic asexual. Aromantic means not experiencing romantic attraction, and asexual means not experiencing sexual attraction. So someone like me who is aroace doesn't experience either. And someone can be aromantic but allosexual, which means they do experience sexual attraction but not romantic attraction. And someone can also be alloromantic asexual, which means they do experience romantic attraction, but they don't experience sexual attraction. And people like us, we can still have relationships, we just don't experience these types of attraction.
Right here, pink. Do you want to expand on that a little bit, or no? You're just good? Yeah. Did you hear? Okay. Other questions? Jarrell? Yes, Jarrell. That's a good one. Right there in the middle, green. That's you. Did you hear it? You heard it? You're incredible. That's awesome to say that. She just said, thank you so much for sharing, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit here, but she feels like she knows all of you so much better now. So, any other questions? Hi, yellow hoodie. This is a question for Glenn. What does he do in order to calm himself down?
I just did. I don't know.
There it is, yes. Great job. Thank you all. Awesome.